Welcome to Moose Plays, everyone. I'm the Liquor Moose, and today we will be going over my Week 3 match of the 8th season of the GPC. Today we are going up against Carson, aka Golden Centurion. Please go check him out. His link will be in the description down below, as well as links to all of the coaches that are in the GPC this season, and I highly recommend you guys follow all of them, as you'll be able to follow the entirety of the league. So yeah, looking at this matchup, I did upload a team builder yesterday. So I went in depth on why I brought each specific command, but for just a quick overview, we have Choice Band Weavile, Swords Dance Landorus, Babiri Berry Whimsicott, pretty standard Megaane Electric with Hidden Power, Grass, and Flamethrower, a speedy, bulky Tentacruel with Spin, Scald, Sludge Bomb, and Giga Drain, and then a pretty much max speed Choice Scarf Exploud. Looking at what Carson brought to the table, he brought the Lycanroc Dusk, the Diggersby, the Decidueye, the Greninja, the Muck Alolan form, and the Mega Gardevoir. And there is no Scizor. Carson did not bring the Scizor. That was a huge threat to my team. Banded Bullet Punch pretty much just 2-hit KO'd everything on my team, and I fully expected it to come, but it's actually not here. Little surprising, but hey, I'm sure Carson has his reasons for leaving it on the bench. So yeah, other than that, Decidueye and Gren showed up. I kind of figured those two would be there. Diggersby was an obvious one because Diggersby just wrecks my team. Like pretty much the same issue with the Scizor. Diggersby puts in a huge number on my team. And the Mega Gardevoir as a main special attacker was not surprising at all either. So looking at lead matchups here, I figured that he was going to lead with his Lycanroc, so I was going to try to counter that and go into my Manectric to try to Volt Switch off of that and break a potential Sash. So we're going to go ahead and lead with the Manectric, but as you can see here, Carson decides to lead with Diggersby. So whether this thing is jolly, whatever, like Earthquake just kills this, and I can't Volt Switch off of this, and I kind of anticipate it to be Scarf. It's either going to be, my prediction is either Scarf or Agility, more than likely Agility Life Orb. So seeing that I brought the Whimsicott with the Babiri Berry specifically for the Scizor, but it's not here, I realize that Whimsicott is probably the most expendable member on my team, so I'm just going to go hard into Whimsicott here, try to predict the Earthquake, but Carson makes the very safe U-turn play, and this damage actually reveals that he is Adamant Max Attack, which is very surprising, because if he is Adamant Max Attack, he cannot outspeed Jolly Max Speed Exploud, which is one of the main reasons why I brought Max Speed Exploud. So anyways, now that we know that he's Adamant, and we don't see, the damage reveals that he's Adamant non-boosting item as well. So my suspicion of Scarf is growing greater and greater, as he is just going to U-turn out into the Greninja, which is a good play on his part. On my part, Greninja is a pretty obvious switch-in for here, so Carson's going to make the very safe double, or I guess very good double, into his Gardevoir. Now here, I saw in multiple mocks, well, once again, I failed to click the pause button at the right time, but anyways, I saw in multiple mocks that that Gardevoir would bring Substitute, and Gardevoir behind a Substitute is way too dangerous. I have Sludge Bombs on Tentacruel specifically for that reason, so I cannot let this thing set up a Substitute. I'm just firing off the safe Sludge Bomb. But he actually switches out into his Lycanroc. I'm not entirely sure what he was trying to predict here, or if he wanted to see if I could try to get Rocks up, or whether he was trying to predict me to go into something else to try to stop the Gardevoir. But no, I'm just going to fire off the Sludge Bomb. I do not catch a poison here, I don't think. Nope. And I check the damage, and the only thing that can kill here is Banded Drill Run. If he's Life Orb or Expert Belt, he cannot kill. So I am perfectly fine with firing off a Scald and try to fish for a burn, or at least try to get the damage roll to kill. But as we see here, he's Drill Run, and that does a lot of damage, but that's because he has Life Orb, which means at this range, Scald is now a guaranteed kill. So down goes the Lycanroc, and then Carson decides, well, Black Sludge comes in, and Carson decides to go back into his Gardevoir, Once again, same mentality. Tentacruel already got a kill. I cannot let Gardevoir set up behind a sub if he has it, so I'm just going to click the very safe Sludge Bomb here. But Carson just attacks what's in front of him and goes with the Shadow Ball, which is perfectly fine here. I'm going to try to go into Manectric here, and I'm going to try to Volt Switch out. Even if he does switch into the Diggersby here, then my Intimidate goes off on him, and he gets an attack drop, which is fine on the Diggersby. And then I can either... I was probably going to end up sacking Whimsicott after that, after the attack drop anyways, assuming he would go for return. But yeah, so I'm going to fire off the Volt Switch, but he actually stays in, so I'm just going to go Volt Switch and get a little bit of damage onto this, and I go into the Whimsicott. And I go into the Whimsicott because I pretty much figure he's going to attack what's in front of him, and it's by far the most expendable member of my team. Another thing with this was I did bring Banded Weavile to the match, and the turn where I brought the Mega Manectric in onto the Mega Gardevoir, the reason I went Banded Weavile for this match was because I could OHKO the standard Mega Gardevoir with Icicle Crash guaranteed. But with the way the speed tiers work, there was a chance that he would run, I think, 120 EVs into HP to try to outspeed my Kamo. And if that was the case, Icicle Crash only does, I think it's a 37.5% chance that I can OHKO it. And Weavile was just too precious. Like, Weavile is way too good against Carson's team to let go down. So that was the reason. That was another reason why I went Manectric there to, if he did stay in, to try to get chip off of the Mega Gardevoir. And then after that, I can guarantee kill with Icicle Crash. So yeah, but anyways, back to this. I Volt Switch out, go back to the Whimsicott, and he is going to attack what's in front of him once again with the Moonblast, which is a very good prep on his part because I do have two potential Soundproof Mons. And like I said here, I'm just going to go into Weavile and click Icicle Crash because basically something dies here. He's going to go into Decidueye, which is it's an interesting choice as his check to Weavile, as even with the Yachiware you can see that does way too much damage. A little surprised about the choice to have Decidueye be the check to the Weavile, since both of my stabs are super effective against it. But again, I'm sure Carson has his reasons for team building as he did. So anyways, expecting a Sucker Punch here. Sucker Punch does pretty much negligible damage to the Weavile, so I'm just going to fire off the Icicle Crash again. But he actually doesn't even Sucker Punch here, so I still have full health on my Weavile, and his Decidueye goes down, as he's going to go back into Diggersby. And I thought about this turn for a while. If he is Adamant Scarf, like I think he is, then he can kill Weavile from here. He does a good chunk to Landorus, and if he's Adamant Scarf, then Manectric still gets 2-hit KO'd by return, even after the Intimidate drop. So my goal here is, if he is Adamant Scarf like I think he is, then I'm going to go into Exploud here and tank one return, and then chip it down enough with Boom Burst so that either Ice Shard from Weavile or pretty much any attack from any of my other mons can KO this. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch out into Exploud, as he is going to fire off the safe return, as that does a massive chunk, and I don't know why I paused it, but once again, Boom Burst, and then Exploud is going to go down to return. So now here I believe I go into Manectric, because if he is, because it was a 50-50, not really 50-50, but it was a choice between either Manectric and killing this, or Weavile. But if I go into Weavile, then the Ice Shard play is very, very obvious, and that basically grants a free switch into Greninja, because by now we should have seen that I would be banded, so I would be locked into the Ice Shard. But anyways, not wanting to give him a relatively free switch into his Greninja, I decide to go into Manectric here, and I decide to fire off a Flamethrower, even though I do have the HP Grass. As Flamethrower, if he does decide to switch out his Diggersby here, Flamethrower will hit both the Muck and the Gardevoir harder, there's no reason for him to switch Greninja on into a Manectric. There's no way he would do that. So I'm just going to fire off the Flamethrower here, as he does indeed confirm that he is Scarfed, and I just fire off the Flamethrower to kill the Diggersby. Now I believe here he goes into his Mega Gardevoir, and wanting to we're in kind of a predicament here, because I have 3 threats, all of which that I need for the remaining. I need Landorus for the Muck, I need Weavile for this, and I need Manectric for the Greninja. I spent a long time on this turn as well. I'm actually really glad we didn't play with a timer on, because I spent a lot of time in the tank and thinking about which specific mons needed to sack at what points. But yeah, basically on this turn, I knew that Landorus could live any hit, whether he was modest or timid, now that I know he has Moonblast instead of Hyper Voice. So I'm just going to Volt Switch out here into the Landorus, or I'll Volt Switch onto anything else if he switches out. So yeah, I do that, Volt Switch, and I go into the Landorus, as Carson does just go for the Moonblast here, and it does a decent chunk here, confirming that it is modest, but at 33%, this is an easy kill with Earthquake, and down goes the Mega Gardevoir, and I believe Carson here goes into his Greninja. Yes, he does. Okay, so now we're in a predicament once again. So, like I said, Weavile was mostly there for the Gardevoir. That was the reason I kept it around. And then, in theory, I should be able to use Manectric for this, and then Landorus for the Alolan Muck. But once again, I thought a lot about this turn, and he really kept the Muck in for a long time. So, I'm actually starting to predict that his Muck is not, in fact, Assault Vest, as I thought it would be, but it is actually Shuckaberry. And if that's the case, then it's an easy KO back from Muck, and then Landorus is basically useless. So what I do make sure to calc is Weavile's Icicle Crash is a guaranteed 2-hit KO onto an Alolan Muck, and his Fire Punch is also a 2-hit KO on me, so he cannot OHKO me with Fire Punch. So instead of keeping Landorus around for the Muck, I keep Weavile around for the Muck instead. And then just in case, for whatever reason, Carson decided to not attack me and like set up spikes or something, I just went for the safe Earthquake here. But he does indeed just go for the Hydro Pump, and Life Orb is revealed, which is very good knowledge here. So with Life Orb, as you can see, I already go into Manectric. With the Life Orb here, and I know he's not Specs, I can kill with Volt Switch. It is a guaranteed kill. So I'm going to go for that, and basically it comes down, these turns come down to how lucky Carson can get, or I guess how unlucky I could get at one point, however you want to look at it. But basically I can kill with Volt Switch here, but I need to make sure that I can live the Water Shuriken that is more than likely incoming. So yeah, I go for the Volt Switch, and basically I just have to hope that Water Shuriken either gets 3 hits. I think it's 3 hits is the min. Oops, sorry about the mouse. 3 hits is the min that Manectric can, or I guess, sorry, 3 hits is the max that Manectric can live, so I have to hope he doesn't get more than 3 hits as the Intimidate goes off here. And Carson goes for the Water Shuriken. 1 hit, 2 hit, goddamn crit on the 3rd hit. Again, we don't know whether the crit mattered, because he could have very well have gotten 4 hits on it. As here, I mean, the only way I can win is I have to lock myself into Icicle Crash, because I could low kick here and guarantee kill the Greninja, but it is not a 2-hit KO on the Muck. The only way I can win here is if instead of an actual attacking move, he goes for Water Shuriken once again, and I have to lock myself into Icicle Crash. As we see, he does do here, but Water Shuriken's going to get a clean 4 hits off. Unfortunately, Icicle Crash cannot kill the Greninja from here, and yeah, he's going to go for the Water Shuriken once again. Even getting another crit just to rub a little bit more salt in the wound. And then, yeah, Muck could come in and Shadow Sneaking and pick off my Weavile. And unfortunately, that's going to be the 1-0 loss for myself. Good game to Carson. It was hard fought throughout the entire match, and we did confirm that he was Shuckaberry after the match on his Muck. So sacking the Landorus was the right play there to the Greninja, but unfortunately the Water Shuriken rolls just were not in my favor today. Unfortunate that another one of my victories kind of has a little bit of, or another one of my games has a little bit of hacks involved in it, but it's just part of the game we play, and I'm gonna have to just kind of get over the hump and hopefully come back with a victory next week. The one good thing I can say about us losing and going 1-2 right now is that for being 1-2, our differential isn't horrible. We're only at -2, and at the same time, I think in our division of 8, 5 of us are 1-2, so we're like right in the middle of the pack still. As only there's one team in our division that is 3-0, and then 2 teams that are 2-1, and then the rest of them are 1-2. It's just everyone's beating everyone. The other division is like that too. So it's actually one thing it is saying about this league is that it is very close, and anyone could beat anyone at any given game. But yeah, once again, good game to Carson. Check out his link in the description below. Oh, excuse me, as well as the links to all of the other coaches in the GPC, including Johnny, aka Risepool, who will be our Week 4 opponent. He is the coach of the Rhine Valley Guardians, yes. He has a scary team, but we will have some transactions happening, so we will have some new faces to the roster. We'll have some new faces to the roster for that match, and I will probably make a video about it, and it'll probably be up tomorrow, actually, so keep your eye out on the channel for that and the roster changes, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.